Hey everybody, this is Benita with Lupus Life, and this is part 4 of my story. And this one is titled Healthy but Sick. So I want to just kind of recap parts 1 through 3. Um, Parts 1 through 3 it rather started with my epilepsy diagnosis. Fast forwarded to I got married in '03, miscarriage in '06, devastated me, but I did not realize it to the capacity at that time. A couple years later, got pregnant, had a successful pregnancy, though it was difficult, gestational diabetes, started to have all these different pains and, aches and pains and things like that, rashes. Did not know what it was, couldn't get an explanation from anybody about what it was. Hey, baby. You don't know anything. Sorry, he's getting ready to work. Um, so started to deal with all these things and didn't know exactly what it was, but eventually I, at one point rather, thought that I had endometriosis, and before I could get an actual diagnosis to confirm if that is what it was, in July of 2015, I got a cancer diagnosis, had 2 surgeries, had to have a hysterectomy. So although I wanted to have about 3 kids, unfortunately I just had the one. Um, Dealt with all these, again, still dealing with all these different aches and pains and issues and things like that. But in April of 2016, I finally got my lupus diagnosis. Um, I was elated in a sense when I got the diagnosis because it did start to make sense. So that was a very quick recap of parts 1 through 3. Um, Again, part 4 is titled Healthy but Sick. And one thing I forgot to mention in parts 1 through 3 was another issue that I started to deal with was in my early 20s, my hair started to thin. And that was really hard to deal with because, you know, if you get to a certain point in your life where certain things don't matter, that don't seem that important to you anymore. However, at this point, even though I'm 37 today, it still bothers me now, even more than, or not as much as it did before. But when you're in your 20s, especially for a female, your hair is your crown. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. No matter how you wear your hair, whether you're long, short, you have a fade, or natural, whatever the case may be, your hair is your crown. Now, I believe in everyone should accept their flaws and accentuate their features, which is something I truly try to live by. But the reality of it is to find out that your hair is thinning is really hard to deal with, especially in your 20s. And it's not like it was one spot and it grew back. It was, or it is, right in the crown of my head. Okay. Now, I will eventually find out that, you know, lupus can make your hair fall out. Sometimes, most people it grows back, but for me, unfortunately, the lupus can make my hair thin. But at the same time, I also found out that I had scarring alopecia. So where the hair was thin or was thinning, unfortunately, it's not going to grow back. And I tried to cope with that in a lot of different ways when I got my hair done. And at some point, I decided, fine, I'll just do a big chop. Maybe that'll help me because at the time, I didn't realize the lupus is what's causing it, or the alopecia is the culprit or whatever. I just figured, maybe for some reason my hair went through a point in time where it just doesn't want to be healthy. So I chopped it all off and eventually I let it grow back. And I tried all these different styles. I get very self-conscious at times if I wear my natural hair, which I have length, I have body, and it's healthy, and it's soft, but my hair is just thinner. There's certain styles that I would love to do, but I can't do. Sometimes I feel like a bald-headed old man, but that's just me. I have hair. I have plenty of it. It's just that spot is thing. Certain styles that I know I cannot do. Um, but again, back to the healthy but sick part 4 of my lupus videos. I just want to say again, I am 37, okay? And for the last couple of years, I have had a handicap placard. It's not one that I borrowed from somebody else. It's not one that I finagled my way into getting. I have a handicap placard that was issued, ordered by my rheumatologist. It is a permanent handicap placard. It's not temporary. It's for life. I will have this handicap placard. One thing I want to do before I go any further is I want to read you a couple of things. And again, it's a lot to cover, so I have my notes for all my videos. Don't judge me. Because that's another thing with lupus. Sometimes brain fogs, honey, are real. Okay, you might forget some stuff. But anyway, I want to read this to you. Disability, by definition, means a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movements, senses, or activities. Handicap means having a condition that is markedly restricting one's ability to function physically, mentally, or socially. So, I read those 2 definitions so you know. Basically letting you know that just because somebody does not exhibit physical or outwardly signs of being disabled or having a handicap, that does not mean that they do not exist. So, again, you can have a physical or mental condition that limits one's movements, senses, or activities. It can affect you physically, mentally, or even socially. Okay? Now, most people may not get a handicap placard because they have anxiety or something like that. I'm not sure if that is a handicap applicable type situation. But again, for me, the point is a lot of people look at me and they say, oh, well, you don't look sick. They don't mean any harm by it. But it's a very awkward thing to respond to when someone says that to you. And again, I know they don't mean any harm. But it is what it is. And some people are very judgmental. And I'm not going to say I'm going to eliminate myself from that, because there was a point in my life where I may look at some people and say, why do they have a handicap placard? I don't know their story. I mean, they may be somebody who is using somebody else's handicap placard because they just don't want to walk that far. But for me, I need it. I mean, I look like it. You can't see always the restricting in my chest because I get winded walking from point A to point B, even though point A to point B may not necessarily be that far. You can't necessarily see that. You can't see the inside of my body where my immune system is fighting against the healthy tissues in my body and attacking it. It's not like, oh, well, she gets cold and then that's it. That's not the extent of it. Like, physically, the pain that us lupus warriors feel, or the physical pain that other autoimmune diseases cause, or the pain that any debilitating disease or things like that. You don't see that all the time. Now, if I lose a leg, definitely you see that. You say, oh, well, they're definitely handicapped, or they definitely have a disability. So I get that. but I just want people to understand that there is no poster for what someone looks like that should have a handicap placard. There is no poster for what someone looks like in order for them to be considered, sick. There is no poster for it. So you can't pass judgment. Um, if you look at my Facebook page, a lot of people will see, like my Facebook friends will see, or anybody who knows me will see. I love taking pictures, okay? I believe that any time is a photo op. Like, I would much rather record this video on my phone because I'll be like this and oh, that's just me. One thing I feel like I don't lack is self confidence, even though I know that my body is flawed or I am flawed in general. But I accept my flaws and I learn to accentuate my features. Okay? Whether those features be, you know, my physical appearance or, just my personality or whatever the case may be, I try to accentuate. And I believe that everybody should accentuate their features and just accept their flaws. It's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's meant to be perfect. And, not everybody can be flawless 24 hours a day. I can be flawless 23, but not everybody can be flawless 24. And, I know it's probably a shock to some to see that my bonus video that I did the last time, I had a bonnet on my head. Most people wouldn't see me like that on a regular basis or, but it is what it is. Okay, besides, this whole coronavirus pandemic thing has really got salons on lockdown, okay? But yeah, so basically back to the you don't look sick or I'm healthy but sick, theme of things here. In addition to my handicap placard, sometimes what you will also see is if you see me in the store, there's a chance that I will be in a hover round. The little electric scooters. Sometimes you might see me and then all of a sudden you hear this beep, beep, beep. That's because I went past something in the aisle that I needed. And yeah, I'll go in reverse and I'll do it. I'll get it because if that's what I need to do, then that's what I'm going to do. So, in the Virgo in me really wants, I'm waiting on somebody to say something ignorant when they see me in that because the Virgo in me really wants to be real stupid with it. But I have to remember and understand that ignorance is real. And again, I'm not saying ignorant in a bad way. What I'm saying is ignorance is not known. And a lot of people don't realize that there is no standard of what somebody looks like, or there is no box that somebody should fit in to say that they are handicapped. It can be a broad spectrum, but it depends on what your doctor feels. Does your doctor feel that this is something that is debilitating enough that would warrant a handicap placard? They would warrant for them to be considered, disabled or things like that. But yeah, some people look at people like Beyonce and they feel like, ooh, Beyonce is everything. She could sing, she's pretty, she could dance, she could do this, her body. But Beyonce got nothing on me, okay? Nothing. Now I ain't gonna lie, I don't have no big butt, but I have one. It ain't big, but it's okay. I may not fit the type of female that my husband envisioned in his younger years that he would marry. And he's honest about that. He's like, yeah, you're not what I would have gone for. Even my siblings, all the women in my family, they have these small waists, these hips, and this butt. Yeah, that's not me. Apparently, when big man upstairs was handing out itty bitty waist, nice hips and big butts, I must have turned around somehow or stepped out of line and missed it because I don't have it. But it's okay. My husband loves me, Again, being honest. and open as possible. A lot of men who like big butts, they like to grab, a handful. My husband might grab this. It's okay. He loves me. He accepts me for me. Again, I've accepted my flaws. And, it is what it is. But again, though, I may not necessarily look the part of somebody who is sick, but just realize and remember that it doesn't always have to be something that you see. A lot of times it's what people feel. And I'm not talking about in the heart or emotionally. It's what they physically feel on the inside that you cannot see. It hurts. It doesn't hurt that people pass judgment. They pass judgment all they want. Believe me, but you don't give a damn. But what hurts is my body every day. What hurts is knowing that there is something wrong and you can't always pinpoint it. Up until I got the lupus diagnosis, again, it was frustrating because for years, you deal with these things and you keep talking until you're blue in the face and you're not getting an answer. So when you finally get an answer, you're like, yay, it explained the stuff that I was dealing with. But then you get frustrated because when you see these doctors, like I have to see my rheumatologist every 3 months. And, your pincushion, they're always drawing blood. I have several doctors in addition to my rheumatologist to combat all the other issues that I have as well. So I'm already a pincushion. And then one thing I found with lupus, and I'm still learning to this day, is that, stomach growling. But one thing I learned is that there's always a new symptom that'll pop up at some point. Or there may be an old symptom that you forgot about, that you didn't even realize was applicable to your situation. And although I have had a diagnosis for about 4 years, to this day, I still every now and then say, let me just read up on lupus because there might be a symptom that somebody else experienced that I experienced, but I did not realize it at the time. And, or whenever I go to my doctor, they have this questionnaire that I have to fill out, and it asks me how I'm feeling that week. Well, that week, I might be okay. And it never fails. I can go to my rheumatologist today, and I'm like, okay, well, this week, I'm feeling fine. Tomorrow, I will start to feel something new. And then, like a fool, I have to call him and be like, hey, this, and this. And I was like, I know I didn't talk about it then because it didn't happen then. But, the reality of it is lupus, I'm not going to say it's ever changing, but in a sense it is ever changing because you get these new things that pop up. And, like I mentioned before, lupus can spawn all of these different, I call them remix diseases or remix autoimmune diseases, like the Sjogren's that I have also, which kind of ties into the really, really dry sandpaper like eyes that I have and stuff like that. But again, you don't see these things when you look at me. I look perfectly fine to most, or to some, but like my husband, he can look at me and he's seen, of course, the transformation that my body has gone through, medically, because I've been with this man since I was 17. So he's seen it. He can see the look on my face when I don't feel right or when something's wrong or whatever. But when I step outside, I look fine. Even to some of my family members, they look at me and they say, hey, you look fine. They know the story, but they're not in my shoes. They don't live with me every day. And I'm not downplaying anything that, they may have said or anything like that, because I know they're genuinely concerned. Like, my mom, even though my mom is, of course, older than me, to this day, she still treats me as if I am extremely frail. Okay. Now, the truth of it is, yeah, I do deal with some things physically and the pains and stuff like that. So, like, if we're out and you're ready to lift something that's fairly heavy, in my mind, this is my mother. She shouldn't have to pick this up. She's older than me. But in her mind, my daughter has a million issues. I don't want her bones to break or whatever. Again, some people may be out and they see that and they look at it like, oh, well, she is so wrong for letting her mother, letting, someone older than her lift this up. Now, don't get me wrong, my mom is not frail by any means. I just seen her jump over a whole car, okay, to get her to choke somebody up. She plays no games. Okay, let me just say that right there. But again, the point is just everybody should try not to pass judgment unless you truly know the story. Okay, and I am sick, but I look healthy. But when I talk to people, I tell them, aside from the seizures, the diabetes, the cancer diagnosis, the lupus, the Sjogren's, the multiple vitamin deficiencies that I have, and the mass on my liver and stuff like that, the random headaches that I feel, the chest pains that I feel, the chronic fatigue that I feel, aside from all of that, I'm healthy. Can't tell me I'm not. Okay? So, again, that's just some of the things that I deal with in terms of healthy but sick. Or, this is what people feel like I look like. And again, I'm not innocent of passing judgment in the past when looking at people and feeling like having a handicap or disability is something that I should be able to see or be associated with somebody that's older, because that's not the case. There are a lot of people from young to old that have a variety of issues that you can see or you cannot see. But the point is, I am not healthy. I am sick, but I look healthy. I don't look sick. It is what it is. I can't change it. I wish I could, but I mean, it is what it is. So that is part 4. I will see you all for part 5 later.